All right, let's get into it. Today, we are breaking down Poka-yoke, a really simple but honestly brilliant idea for building perfect quality into just about any process you can think of. So, let's start by asking a really fundamental question. When things go wrong, when a product has a flaw or a service just doesn't work right, why? Why does that actually happen? Our first instinct is usually to blame a person, right? We think, oh, someone was careless or they weren't paying attention. But what if that's completely the wrong way to look at it? The whole idea we're exploring today is that the problem isn't the person, it's that the system itself made it possible for the mistake to happen in the first place. And that right there brings us to our first huge shift in thinking. We've got to move away from this culture of blame and start focusing entirely on the design of the work itself. This is Poka-yoke. It's a Japanese term brought to us by the legendary engineer Shigeo Shingo, and it literally means mistake-proofing. And the key thing here is that it's not about trying harder or being more careful. No, it's about designing a process so that making a mistake is either physically impossible or just so obvious it gets caught instantly. This quote really gets to the core of it all. It's not about having a bunch of inspectors at the end of the line trying to find defects. It's about building quality in from the very beginning. If a defect makes it out the door, the system failed, not the person. Now, to really get this, we have to understand a critical difference. An error is just a human mistake. Someone forgets a step, gets distracted, whatever. But a defect, that's what happens when that error actually makes it all the way to the customer. They are not the same thing at all. So here's the crucial part. The entire purpose of Poka-yoke is to build a wall between the error and the defect. It accepts that, hey, we're human, we're going to make mistakes. But it's about designing a system that catches those mistakes right at the source, long before they ever become a problem for a customer. So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, it pretty much breaks down into 3 different types of mistake proofing you can use. The first one, and by far the most powerful, is prevention. This is the gold standard. This is where you design something, a part, a tool, the process itself, in a way that makes it physically impossible to do it wrong. And you see this stuff every single day. You literally can't plug a USB cable in the wrong way because of its shape. Your phone's SIM card only fits in one way. A web form that won't let you hit submit because you missed a required field. All perfect, everyday examples of prevention Poka-yoke. Okay, the second type is detection. Now, in this case, the error can technically happen, but the system immediately flags it. You get instant feedback, so you can fix it right then and there. It's not quite as good as prevention, but it's way better than finding the mistake later on. Think about the warning light and that chime in your car if you forget to buckle your seatbelt, or that error message that pops up when you type your password wrong. Those are all detection systems, designed to shout, hey, something's not right, the second an error happens. And finally, we have control. This one is like the ultimate safety net. A control-type Poka-yoke physically shuts the process down when something is wrong. The machine just won't continue until the problem is fixed, which forces you to make the correction right away. So this all sounds pretty smart, right? But how do you actually go about creating a mistake-proofing solution? Let's walk through a super simple, practical framework you can use for any process. First, you gotta identify what's going wrong. Not who is doing it wrong, but what. Then you dig deep and find the root cause. Why is this mistake even possible? From there, you decide on your approach. Always aim for prevention first. And finally, and this is key, keep the solution simple, cheap, and obvious. If it needs a manual to explain it, it's probably too complicated. Now, to really nail this, you also have to mistake-proof your own thinking. It is so easy to fall into traps that feel like you're improving quality, but are actually just adding clutter. Let's look at the difference. Bad mistake-proofing just adds bureaucracy, more checklists, more sign-offs, more inspection. It's just waste. But a good Poka-yoke, oh, it's elegant. It forces the right action, makes the wrong one impossible, and ideally requires zero extra thought from the person doing the work. It just works. So as you start using this, just watch out for these common traps. Instead of asking who messed up, ask how did the system let this happen? Always push for prevention over just checking for mistakes later. And definitely pay attention to those small, frequent errors. They're often the source of your biggest problem. I want to leave you with this one thought because it is so powerful. Real, lasting quality isn't built on human effort. People forget things. We get tired. We have bad days. Instead of asking people to be perfect, we should be designing systems that make perfection the easiest, most natural choice. Hey, if you want to keep mastering lean thinking one concept at a time, do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.